travel.
Yeah, well, it's such a big breadth of work, though, but is there one moment in 60 Minutes history that really does stick in your mind, an interview that you still recollect to this day?
It used to be every one I've done. Like, if you'd have asked me that when I was doing it, it was the last one I've done. I couldn't believe that, and I still can't believe, I was just up in Nepal doing something for a current affair. I still, after 45 years of doing this, I can't believe people pay me money to go to these places and meet these people. So, I mean, to get Melina Mercouri in Greece for 60 Minutes, to get, you know, there was the great train robber, to get a whole bunch of other people, almost any place we went, you know, I'm the best tourist in the world, and so to actually give me a ticket to go somewhere and tell a story about some place and take pictures, that's what it's about. So I did about, I'm not avoiding your question, Jane, but I did probably about 200 stories for 60 Minutes in those days, and I loved them all. You know, to fly to B-52, the first B-52 ever to come to Australia, we flew from Guam across down to Rockhampton and then back to, and refueled at 60,000 feet, and just myself and a cameraman. So these sorts of things, and you know, similarly in A4 jets doing sort of the breaking the sand barrier and doing triple barrel rolls in those, and you know, with the G-force, that's boys' own stuff. That sort of stuff that you think, hang on, I should be paying for this, but don't tell Kerry Packer. It's Mick and Jane against you, Jono. We come from Launceston.
Oh, the Launcestonians are ganging up on me.
You've got Michael Johnson was intimidating. Look at this.
We've got a word association game to wrap things up with you. Jane's got some words, I've got some words. Jane, go for it.
Here we go. A current affair. Now.
Like the little girl, the kiss girl, good when it's good, bad when it's not so good.
It's fair.
Rob Sitch, frontline host.
A funny man. I thought it was going to be worse than it was, so I took the flak jacket off and took the crash helmet off and got out of the bunker. I thought, that's not so bad. Could have been worse.
Logie, you've got 5 of them.
I used to think they were unimportant until I got one, but then they became, you know, very important. They're like winning the chook raffle down the pub on a Friday night. They're worth having. I don't know quite how it's done, you know, because I was working on midday, and when I first got my first gold, and I don't know, I didn't know anyone at Channel 9 who was actually filling out forms and filling them in. So it must have been, I don't know how many it took. Maybe it only took half a dozen to win one. I don't know, but I think they're generally fair dinkum. Generally.
Well, where are they?
Yeah, where do you keep them?
Yeah.
Someone pinched one.
Okay.
I've got. They disappeared from my office when I was doing Current Affair the first time. Just whether a cleaner or someone else took it, I don't know. It's holding it, propping up a dunny door somewhere. The other 4 are just. I promise you, they're not gold. They tarnish.
Oh.
So they're not very shiny at the moment. They're somewhere in my study, sort of in amongst books.
My dreams are crushed. It's a big topic, but Tasmania.
It's a great state. I think Tasmanians undersell themselves. I think that you know, when I was at school here, it was all about hydroelectricity, about timber, and about apples. We've moved on. I mean, the ferries that are made here now, some of the high tech stuff that can be done. I don't think Tasmanians realise what they have, and so I think in that sense. Every time a building goes up, every time a sign goes up in this place, if it's going to affect the tourism industry, it should be, which someone should vet it. This should be the most beautiful place in Australia, and it is if you get away from it. So, but I get the feeling that, you know, governments and state councils don't keep an eye on streetscapes. I was in Stanley earlier this year. That is beautiful. That's just a beautiful town, and of course time's passed it by, and it's just this lovely seaside seaport. Too much of Tassie, I think. You know, I was down here last year trying to get something in one of the 4-day long weekends, and I couldn't get breakfast down in the Huon at about 7 o'clock in the morning because everything is closed on the Monday. Now, you know, we've got to come. We being Tasmanians, we've got to come of age. If tourism is important, then everyone from the cops or from the Premier right on down has to start to treat tourists as special when they come to town. I think we have it a sense, but it's so beautiful. I was down here taking photos, as I said, for that book, and I thought I got the short end of the stick, because you can't take a bad photo in this place. It's such a beautiful state, and to go down to, I was down in Huonville, and I hadn't spent much time there when I was in Tassie, and they are the best reflections of any place I've ever seen in the world down on the Huon River, whether it's the tea tree or whatever it is that down there just makes it so beautiful. But everywhere you go, in Stanley, as I say, that was beautiful. So,
and one more word or one more name, Charles Woolley.
Charles Wood is incorrigible. He keeps teaching my Tassie stories. He is. Well, I see he's one of the gems, like this guy John Huddy I mentioned earlier. Charles Woody is so Tasmanian. He is the unpaid Tasmanian ambassador anywhere in the world he goes. So he should be. He may be. This government should pay him some sort of a fee to but he's also terribly creative, and I just wish he wasn't around. That's all. I love him. He's a great bloke.
He spends a lot of time at Shippies, it seems.
He does indeed. And I spend a lot of time at Chippies with him.
Oh, no!